Welcome, Sagittarius, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 9th of March for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you, first of all, the big themes of the week, and there's one incredibly exciting thing to share. Then on screen, your event chart on Monday, always influential. I'll unpack that. Then I'll go through each of those influences frame by frame to give you a really clear picture of what you can expect by the end of the video for your relationships, finance, energy, and work for the week. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. As we go into this week, Venus and Saturn are still very close together. They came into an exact conjunction in the part of your chart to do with being glamorous and flirtatious as last week came to a close, but may have seen your sparkle be dulled. What's the significance of that? Also, your ruler Jupiter, which has been retracing its steps for the last 4 months, goes direct on Wednesday. That's really exciting, particularly for your long-term financial prospects. Stay with me for more. But we also have Venus moving forwards away from Saturn and connecting powerfully to Pluto, the planet of transformation. Deeper connections can evolve from that. I'll share those with you too. And we have, as the week goes on, a very dynamic link between Mars and the North Node, but also Mars and Mercury as the week draws to a close. And that could be a little bit triggering around your emotional or home life. On the screen is your event chart, and there's your glorious ruler Jupiter. But it has been retracing its steps for 4 months. So if you have felt that things aren't evolving, particularly around your long-term financial picture as quickly as you would like, or any shared resources have been snagged in some way, perhaps around some kind of contractual or even legal matter, things should ease now. But I want to reassure you, Sagittarius, that right at the start of this week, Mercury, the planet of communication, which itself is in retrograde, is in a perfect alliance to Jupiter. So don't feel that things can't happen before Wednesday. That combination is very good if you've applied for finance for a property, perhaps you're trying to realign your resources in some kind of careful way to squeeze more from them. That can be very enterprising. But as I mentioned, Venus and Saturn were exactly conjunct on Sunday last, and Venus is very close. The fifth house can be very gregarious, it can be very much to do with fun, but I think if you are thinking or wanting to get close to someone at this time, the theme is still that you feel emotionally comfortable with them. And Saturn could therefore make you just a bit more cautious initially. But if there has been a relationship where you just don't feel that you have that sense of comfort, it really could be much to the fore as this week begins. Now, the moon is also in a very psychological part of your scope initially, but it is in an opposition with Uranus. So for us all, there could be a little bit of edginess earlier on Monday. But what you can do is as Venus moves forwards this week, it starts to align by Wednesday in a profound sextile with Pluto. Whatever you're thinking or discussing, even if you did have that moment of concern or things felt inhibited, someone's going to connect with you. It may be a friend, it could be someone you're getting to know. And that connection can be very reassuring because it feels so sincere. And that coincides on Wednesday with Jupiter going direct. But just to say, your window of opportunity with Jupiter through to the end of June is in that eighth house, can be in the physical sense about shared or long-term finances, investments, being more entrepreneurial, or maybe it is more about the psychological domain. Jupiter, remember, is about knowledge, and I think your knowledge and understanding of your deeper motivations can really grow over these next near to 4 months. But by Friday, Mars is applying to the North Node. And then, as Mercury retreats on Sunday, Mercury and Mars come into an exact conjunction. Now, in another house other than house 4, I think that can actually be quite positive in a way. But because Mercury's retrograde and Mars can be a bit prickly and defensive in the fourth house, and the host Pisces can create a little bit of confusion or distort information, particularly with Mercury there, you might find by the end of this week, if something is rather frustrating, it might be around someone you live with, a flatmate, family member, maybe just inside yourself, you feel a little bit unsettled. Just be aware that a more defensive and reactive part of your nature could show up as this week draws to a close. So, to summarize, in terms of relationships, you may have had a serious thought as we come into this week with that conjunction between Venus and Saturn. Is that playful, sparkly character really good enough at an emotional level for you or appropriate for you? That could show up around relationships. However, as Venus moves on through this week, the chance to become more conscious of who we can be profoundly connected to is really underlined. Your financial situation, with Jupiter going direct on Wednesday, is also uplifted brilliantly. And when it comes to your energetic situation, just be aware that by the end of the week, you could be feeling a bit edgy, maybe a little bit irritable, and perhaps a good thing just to give yourself a little bit of personal space. Do some pampering or just have some time out to think about what you want for you. Could be enjoying a nice TV program, a series, a book, or getting in nature. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've yet to watch your deep dive for March, please see that on screen. If you've yet to watch your Venus in Aries deep dive, please click on that. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please check out my testimonials below. And if you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, great value, totally unique to you, very accurate. You can order now and get 50% off by applying Astro 26 at the checkout for the natal version, or if you want your spiritual, soul, and karmic version, the draconic, please apply Draco 26 at the checkout for 50% off those. Have a great week, Sagittarius. All the best and goodbye.